Last summer, we noticed something interesting. Our midterm rentals were outperforming our short-term rentals in the low season.
Say what?
For the most part, this made sense. The guests that were staying in our midterm rentals didn't mind the 115-degree heat because they were in the area for some reason like work or a relocation, not there to vacation.
So we started experimenting with ways to attract longer bookings like these at our short-term rentals to help carry them through the slower summer months.
But how do you advertise a property as a monthly furnished rental when its primary use has been for short-term rentals? And doing so without sacrificing income potential from your high demand season.
Eventually, we landed on a strategy that's worked extremely well for us this summer. And it's even led to some experimentation with weekly and monthly discounts in our busier seasons later this year and early next year.
In this video, we're going to break down how we adjust our length of stay discounts, minimum stay restrictions across our low season, shoulder season, and peak season.
Including how far out we open our calendar, what discounts we apply and when, and what constraints we put in place to protect our revenue. Let's get started.
Let's start with the slow season, which in the Palm Springs area is May till September, which was where the need for this kind of strategy really arose.
During the summer, we were seeing lower demand, especially at properties without private pools. And in the summer, in the desert, that's pretty obvious, right? We knew that short-term rental bookings at these properties would be sparse. How do we land one solid booking for the month that beats a calendar full of gaps?
Is it possible?
We didn't drop our base rates much, but we did apply a large monthly discount between 40 and sometimes 60% to attract guests that were interested in a longer stay.
We thought about going into our PMS in this video and taking screen recordings and showing you exactly how we set up these constraints and these monthly discounts, but we also wanted this video to be for everyone, not just Uplisting users. So today we're just talking strategy.
You don't need a property management software platform to apply monthly discounts. You just need to get into your Airbnb settings on the calendar, and there are settings there for both minimum stay and length of stay discounts. We just can't show you screen records of our account because it's connected through the Uplisting API, and our view is now different.
If you're interested in uplisting, or if you've been considering adding a property management software to your short-term rental business, we will leave some information and links down in the description box below.
You'll also want to make sure you subscribe to our channel, turn on those notifications, because next week we're going to announce something very cool that's been happening over at Uplisting. But back to today's video, let's get into those monthly discounts.
The key here is to calculate what the net will be after those discounts. We're factoring in things like AC usage for a month-long stay during the summer and how that net monthly rate would compare to what we would normally be getting in short-term rental bookings, which most likely for that type of property is just 3, maybe 4 weekends a month. So we're looking at like 6 to 8 nights.
If the numbers don't pencil out and we didn't feel like we were getting enough income, we'd adjust things either by slightly increasing the base rate or decreasing that monthly discount percentage.
We also looked at what similar properties would be charging for a monthly booking in our area. But there's definitely a lot of fear and price slashing going on in the summer. People are just desperate to get any sort of booking. So we're keeping that in mind, and we don't want to go too low. One thing that helps these particular properties stand out is that they are short-term rental properties primarily, so they have a lot more positive reviews compared to a midterm rental that's only going to get a handful of reviews per year.
The reviews are in. I repeat, the reviews are in.
In the end, this strategy helped us secure many monthly bookings across our short-term rentals this summer, and many of those have actually extended month over month, and that has really helped with the income level both for ourselves and our management clients.
Next, let's talk about the shoulder season and specifically what we're looking at when we're about 6 months out.
In our market, which is very snowbird heavy, shoulder season usually is from September until mid-November before Thanksgiving. And then again from April into earlier mid-May. There's demand there at these times of year, but it can be unpredictable and sometimes things fill up fast. Other times they don't.
Our goal when we're that far out is to keep our options open. We want the property to be attractive to a monthly guest if the right one comes along, but we also don't want to box ourselves out of multiple high-dollar short-term rental bookings.
This isn't something we just do in the desert market either. We've used the same tactics at our San Diego duplex in these middle demand times of year. and we've had good results there too. One of the things we always look at when buying a short-term rental is what are the reasons that people come to a particular area. Hopefully there's multiple and not just one big seasonal draw. This diversity in the demand makes this strategy work better.
So when we're about 6 months out from this shoulder season start, we'll start with a higher base rate to protect those weekend rates, and then we'll also add a 15% weekly discount and a 35 to 40% monthly discount. That way the monthly rate is attractive enough to catch the right midterm rental guest, but not so low that we'll regret the calendar filling up and not getting those short-term rentals.
Genius.
We'll also set a 5 or 6 night minimum this far out. This helps avoid a random 1 or 2 night booking that's going to take away a weekend and prevent us from securing a longer duration stay.
As those shoulder season dates start to get closer, that's when we go in and start tweaking things. But we are lowering the minimum nights to fill gaps and adjusting those discount percentages.
The main takeaway here is that we're not just setting our rates and discounts and minimum stays and forgetting about it. We're very active about tweaking things to try and secure the best booking for that given time frame.
Now let's get into peak season. And for us, this is November through April, with the strongest short-term rental demand being around holidays and during the music festivals in April.
November through March is also peak snowbird season, but we don't see so many monthly bookings at our short-term rentals during this time frame because the weekends are in high demand and those get scooped up.
What's more common is a 2 or 3 week booking with some shorter stays mixed in. So our strategy here is about protecting those high value weekends while leaving room to attract some of those longer stays, but not necessarily a full month.
When we're looking at peak season dates and it's 6 months or maybe a little more away, we start with our highest base rates of the year, and then we'll set a weekly discount to around 15% in most cases and a monthly discount to about 20%.
We'll also set a higher minimum night stay for part of this time, sometimes up to 14 nights. This helps prevent the calendar from being chopped up by a couple of different short bookings and leaves space for some of those higher value bookings.
Every once in a while though, we will get a monthly booking during that peak season. So if it's the right guest and the rates are set right, it's going to be an attractive booking.
We actually just had a great example of this. In just the past week, we took a $10,000 booking at one of our short-term rental properties for the entire month of February. And last February at the same property, the earnings were $9,000.
And this time around, it's going to be a single woman staying there for the whole month and not a transient mix of groups of 3, 4, 5, or 6. And that's not to say that any of those guests last year were bad, but it's definitely easier wear and tear, easier to manage when you're just dealing with a single person for a whole month versus 7 or 8 different stays spread out across a month. It's also more money for us and for our client at the end of the day.
Much better.
As we get closer to those peak season days, again, we're not necessarily lowering prices, but we are lowering the minimum night requirement. The hope is to capture shorter but still high value bookings and fill in those gaps on the calendar.
The main goal is to make sure you don't trade peak short-term rental income for a mediocre midterm stay, but we'll gladly take that occasional monthly guest because we've set the calendar constraints and the pricing to make it favorable for us.
So that is our approach for adjusting minimum stay requirements and adding in weekly and monthly discounts for low season, shoulder season, and peak season.
The exact percentages and minimum stay lengths may vary for your market, but the key is to match your strategy to both the season and the lead time.
And being intentional with these settings can lead to steadier income in the slow season, flexibility in the shoulder season, and maximum earnings in your peak season.
And remember, we don't just set these constraints and prices and discounts and forget about them. We're very active in tweaking, looking at our calendars always at what is the best way to fill at the best rates.
Please give this video a like if you found it helpful, and we will leave another one linked here on screen for you to check out next.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.